Hello, this is Sharon Rayner. I'd like to take a few minutes and tell you about an organization called Nurse to Nurse. We're a group of dedicated nurses involved in preventing suicide and promoting mental health and wellness among nurses. In this brief presentation, I want to call awareness to the need for mental health and wellness among nurses and describe the 3 strategies to use when you may need help or when your colleague needs help. And it's important to know how to access the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and other resources. Do you know the rate of suicide is higher among nurses than the general population? In 2021, Davis and her colleagues from the University of California, San Diego, found that between 2007 and 2018, nurses were 18% more likely to die from suicide than the general population. The risk of death by suicide was approximately twice the risk observed in the general population among female nurses. To address this crisis, we formed Nurse to Nurse. We're here for each other. At Nurse to Nurse, we don't want nurses suffering alone. We want to encourage nurses to ask for help. We want to be there to listen and provide resources. It's easier to talk to other nurses, and we know that we're here for each other because we understand the stressors from the work as a nurse. We now know that nurses have a greater risk for suicide, but we don't quite understand all the job stressors and the influence that they have on the prevalence of nurses who die by suicide. More research needs to be done. But let's start prevention now. Nurses are the backbone of healthcare. We're the caregivers. So what's keeping us from asking for help when we need it? We can use the acronym AIR to strategize for suicide prevention and also to help our colleagues get help if needed. If we're starting to feel overwhelmed, have thoughts of self-harm, or have suicidal thoughts, we can think of AIR. Be aware, identify, and recognize. Aware of what we're feeling, aware of those thoughts, and aware of how to get help. Identify our risk factors, ask for help, steer a colleague towards help, and have that conversation, and recognize that it's important to get help and to call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline if needed, or to reach the person who you can trust to help you with your suicide prevention plan. It's important to have the Suicide Prevention Lifeline in your phone. You can call or text. The number is here on the screen. And if you're having thoughts of suicide, make the call. As nurses, we really do have the power. We've got this. There is stigma associated with seeking mental health treatment. But given the increased incidence of suicide among nurses, we need to change our perspective and normalize conversations about mental health and wellness. Prevention is power, so let's prevent suicide among nurses together. Here's a list of references, and remember, Nurse to Nurse is here for you.